Marjorie Taylor Greene says Democrat-aligned dark money lawfare groups are using their money to remove a political opponent from a ballot before the election ever occurs. These left-wing activists are stripping away the voting rights of average Americans, and they're keeping normal people from being able to choose who's going to represent us. That's what Democrat leftists are doing. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, smartest woman in politics, is going to expose it all for you right now. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel.
Dark money funded lawfare is waged against candidates, against groups to sway politics and also interfere in elections.
Important for you to remember, Democrats said democracy was on the ballot last time. That was in 22. They didn't mean it. They were all lying. They love when they can remove democracy before it even gets on the ballot. They don't want you voting on this stuff.
On March 24th, 2022, a group called Free Speech for People, which is an ironic name, filed a lawsuit against me using the 14th Amendment to try to remove my name off the ballot in my district in Georgia. This group, Free Speech for People, has received funding from leftist groups like San Francisco Foundation, Kohlberg Foundation, Leonard and Sophie Davis Fund, Overbrook Foundation, Park Foundation, Schumann Media Center, and Cloud Mountain Foundation, and many more. These groups are groups that claim they care about defending democracy, but they funded a group called Free Speech for People that was interested in taking away the free speech of the voters in my district.
This is a classic Marxist Alinsky move to call it free speech for the people, and they're removing free speech. They always do that double speak veneer because their naming conventions are all gaslighting. They sit there and self-righteously claim to be for free speech, and they're here to remove Marjorie Taylor Greene from the ballot. Remember, they said she was extreme. They're trying to get you to think she's extreme and beyond the pale. And here she won her district. By how much? A lot.
These groups from San Francisco and New York, all they did was fund a group to interfere in an election in my district in Georgia.
See, this is San Francisco and New York wanting to dictate how another state acts. See that? Two different states, tons of money. This is also giant white elite money. Liberal elite, rich people, overeducated money going into another state and trying to manipulate frankly, a very poor, small county by comparison.
On April 22nd, I had to go to court where I took the witness stand defending myself under oath against a lie launched and funded by this dark money group and run by far-left political operatives like David Brock and Norm Eisen. But I won, and it cost me almost $1 million defending myself. And then 1 month later, I had my election day on May 24th, 2022. Well, I want to tell you I won again because the voters in my district voted for me with over 70%.
Voting victory that the majority chose Marjorie Taylor Greene as a candidate that New York and San Francisco Democrats tried to stop because they don't believe in democracy. They wanted to overturn a 70% lead by a Republican like Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're rich. They're powerful. It cost her $1 million just to show up and defend her name on a ballot. This is what's cool. Marjorie Taylor Greene has used her experience to expose this template, this strategy that's being used against Trump.
But this is still happening, and it's happening again to interfere in the 2024 election. Last Wednesday, a lawsuit was filed by Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, CREW, to have President Trump removed from Colorado's ballots over claims he violated Section 3 of the 14th Amendment on January 6th. This is the same thing Free Speech for People tried to do with me, and I beat them, and President Trump will beat them as well.
Yes, they're trying to remove Trump's name from the ballot in Colorado, because Democrats in Colorado are not for democracy. They're not for free speech. They're going to make Trump have to go in. This is called lawfare. They're going to make him go in and have to file a lawsuit to defend his name and get his name put on the ballot. They want this done in every Democrat state. They're going to use states to come out and try and stop a candidate from appearing on the ballot.
CREW was founded in 2003 by Norm Eisen, the same activist that was probably involved funding mine, and Melanie Sloan, to be a progressive watchdog group. Democrat operative David Brock of Media Matters, also well known for the Brock memo.
Oh yeah, it's our old buddy David Brock from Media Matters. Media Matters has a formal group of guys offline, a little group of people who meet, and they all snitch and rat out conservative YouTube channels, turning in all of our names to try and get us mass striked and canceled out. That's how Brock and Media Matters, they are also anti-free speech, anti-democracy.
Was chairman of the board of directors from 2014 to 2017. Norm Eisen worked for the ADL in the 80s, investigating anti-Semitism and civil rights violation. He worked on his law school classmate Barack Obama's presidential campaign, and then was named special counsel for ethics and government reform in the White House. In 2019, Eisen was appointed consultant to the House Judiciary Committee, where he worked on the first impeachment of President Trump. You can see where this goes, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about politics.
They've been lying about it all along. This guy is part of the Russia, which is entirely made up. All of left-wing media and academia and Hollywood went along with it.
Eisen implemented the David Brock blueprint for suing the president into paralysis and his allies into bankruptcy. He helped mainstream and amplify the Russia hoax. He drafted 10 articles of impeachment for the Democrats a full month before President Trump ever called the Ukrainian president in 2018. He personally served as special counsel litigating the Ukraine impeachment. He created a template for internet censorship of world leaders and a handbook for mass mobilizing racial justice protesters to overturn Democratic election results.
The corruption goes so deep, it's hard to even keep a straight face. This is actually what a strong woman looks like. Of course, the feminists in the Democrat Party wouldn't know a strong woman because they're too busy attacking her, undermining her, and trying to destroy her name, reputation, and career as extremists because she's strong.
There is perhaps no man alive with a more decorated resume for plots against President Trump than Norm Eisen. All of these actions were part of the David Brock memo, which outlined how to defeat President Trump through funded lawfare.
Yeah, this was all planned. They rolled it all out. They meant to tie him up in courts. And now you see it with his 4 indictments.
The next step is Eisen and Brock's plan is to take President Trump and his allies out before the presidential election of 2024. They're trying to use January 6th as the reason for filing lawsuits against President Trump in various states, arguing he violated the 14th Amendment and is supposedly guilty of some so-called insurrection that never was, and therefore would be ineligible to run for office. CREW, the organization Eisen founded and Brooke chaired, is one of the main groups devoting funds to this goal. We have to stop funded lawfare by political organizations that want to take away people's freedom of speech to vote for the candidate that they want to vote for. And we also have to stop these dark money funded groups from interfering in elections.
The rest of media tries to cover it up, and we multiply it here. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. And thanks for joining me, keeping me from being alone right here in exile.